おいでタック、大丈夫。タック、
やめて。
頑張れタック、ファイト。
お願い、もうやめて。誰かお願いします。誰か助けて。
大丈夫か、玉木。
Hello anime lovers, it's Nats from Aninats channel. I'm gonna bring you some cool anime scenes, compilation, and reviews from animes that I personally watched. So, let's get started. This anime is gonna bring us a story of a firefighter, where a mysterious phenomenon started a plague that turns humans into fire monster. One thing that catches my attention in this anime is the sound effect of the fight scenes. While it already has a very good battle animation, its sound effect really above the other anime battle scenes. I highly recommend that you guys watch this anime with good sound equipment, and you will know what I mean. The story starts with a spontaneous combustion that takes over a citizen inside a train, and sets the whole train on fire. Near to the incident, a boy named Shinra decides that he can deal with it. But the special organization that deals with these monsters, called Infernals, comes in and destroys the monster by extinguishing the fire. After the incident, the lieutenant watches Shinra, and he introduces himself as the newest member of the Fire Force Company No. 8. He's given a uniform and then introduced to Captain Ubi, who is in charge of everything in the Fire Company No. 8. Shinra shares his ambition with everyone, but the lieutenant, Hinoa Takahisa, mocks him for looking more like a devil than a hero. Inside his dorm, Shinra thinks about the promise he made with his mother, and when an unknown event that took the life of his family. Under those burden of losing his entire family, Shinra can only smile, and that's why he's known as a devil boy. After that he goes on his first mission in a factory that got fire everywhere due to an infernal. The wall of flames gave Shinra his trauma again, but now he has to prove whether he's a devil or a hero. All of the Company 8 member, including Shinra, the lieutenant, and Maki, destroyed the infernal in the factory. The husband thanks them for putting his wife to rest. This is where Captain Ubi recognized Shinra's ability. The next day, another new hire of the Special Fire Force 8 got introduced. He is Shinra's rival who came from the Special Fire Force Training Academy, named Arthur Boyle. Their first encounter was hostile and both became enemies with each other. However, both still want to learn more about what being a fire force means. Suddenly an emergency comes in, and the fire force have to move in. However, this incident was strange because it seems planned. After Arthur put the Infernals to rest, Captain Ubi started thinking that this is a scheme of someone. Outside the house there was a mysterious man who was behind the mutated Infernals. The next day it's Rookie Fire Force tournament time, where all the newcomers from all the companies will use their skills. Shinra encounters the captain of Fire Company No. 1, that saved Shinra 12 years ago in the incident that took his family. The captain named Leonardo Burns. Later that night, Shinra and Captain Ubi meet with Captain Burns to discuss the planned attacks, and their suspicion about the intentional human combustion that are threaten the world. The next day, there is a court trial for a convict named Miyamoto Setsuo, who used to be a firefighter but turned into a murderer, and then turned into an infernal at some point in his sentence. Shinra and Arthur encounter him, and shocked to know that the infernal has his sense of self-consciousness still left in him. However, as they about to kill the infernal and put him on rest, the captain of the 5th company intervened and started fighting with them. After some fight, Captain Ubi allowed the 5th company to take the infernal for their experiment. Ever since the incident, the 8th company member, Sister Iris, has been feeling like there's trouble coming. To reveal all the secrets of spontaneous human combustion, Captain Ubi tells his team that it is quite important that they should investigate the Fifth Company. Later at night, Sister Iris leaves her headquarters and head to the Fifth Company headquarters. To find out what happened to Sister Iris, both Shinra and Arthur go to Fifth Company headquarters. They got into fight with the fifth member, but eventually manages to defeat the enemies and goes to the Fifth Captain Castle. Sister Iris and the fifth captain, Princess Hibana's, turns out to know each other when they both used to live in the same orphanage. However, their lives were shattered by Infernal incident, and Hibana is full of hatred to the Infernals. Meanwhile, Shinra manages to reach Captain Hibana, and the fight begins between Shinra and Captain Hibana. In the end, Shinra manages to go on par with Captain Hibana, and she decides to forget her hatred and start to live happily. After their deep battle, the Fifth Company and the Eighth Company decide to cooperate. This is where the Eighth Company gets a lot of information from Captain Hibana, especially the fact that there are those Infernals who are being artificially created by someone. However, it is highly expected that a specific area is probably involved in the incidents. They decided to start investigate the First Company that led by Captain Burns, that reign over that area. Ubi then orders Shinra and Arthur to get information by joining their training camp. Shinra then find out that the captain knows about the fire incident from 12 years ago, and make a bet with each other that if Shinra able to move the captain from his standing, he would tell him about the incident 12 years ago. However, by the difference of power, Shinra instantly loses. Later on, Shinra and Arthur continue their undercover mission to investigate the First Company. At first, their day was nothing more than peaceful sparring matches with other trainees. However, an emergency alarm suddenly sounded at the Special Fire Cathedral. Shinra goes to the location with the First Company, and find a man that had been using mysterious insects to artificially start the Infernals. He later finds out that the man who has been creating the Infernals was Hashimiya Reka from the First Company. He's been sacrificing children for experimenting to create a specific Infernal. Shinra then get into a fierce fight with Reka. In the end, Shinra manages to defeat Reka, and save the children. When the other First Company member about to question Reka, he's suddenly shot with a flame arrow that killed him. This is where Shinra encounters two enemies, called the White Clad, that were sniping from a distance. Reka's teammate Kareem says that Reka wasn't always evil, and he wants to know what turned him into this evil person. They assume that the White Clad is behind everything, that's why they killed Reka. After this incident, every captain of the Fire Force Company is called to have an emergency meeting. Everyone wanted to discuss the White Clad organization. Shinra then goes with Captain Ubi and Hibana. On their way, they see the Amaterasu power plant, that is responsible for providing energy to the whole of Tokyo. After some investigation, Shinra decided to stay behind to go and investigate the power plant by himself. Later, a man called Joker meets him and tells him about the Adola Burst, a sacred flame that differs from other flames in the world. He also reveals that Shouboutai Kusakabe, Shinra's little brother, is actually alive and now is the commander of the knights who is serving the White Clad. Captain Ubi and Lieutenant Takahisa discuss the whole Fire Force Company's formation. They decided to question the strongest fighter, named Benimaru Shinmon, member of the 7th Company. At first, Benimaru refuses to cooperate with the 8th Company. Suddenly one of the citizens became infernal at the festival, which led to other confusion. Everything got destroyed and more people are turning into infernals. The only person who can fix the situation was Benimaru. Being the strongest soldier, Benimaru manages to handle the situation without having any problems. Meanwhile, the White Clad plans a scheme to impersonate Captain Ubi and Lieutenant Takahisa to cause problems and misunderstandings. This caused Benimaru and Ubi started fighting. But they soon stopped fighting and had to fight against a demon like Infernal. Now Benimaru realized that there are a bigger threat and decides to investigate the White Clad on what their motive was. They then attacked with fire arrows, and Shinra manages to locate the sniper. He found out that the two members White Clad were behind everything. Arthur and Shinra decided to fight the White Clad members, forcing them to retreat. Benimaru then fights the demon and takes it to the sky where he destroys it. Soon after using the move, Benimaru got exhausted and free falling until Shinra caught and saved him from the fall. Everyone celebrates this event, and the 7th and the 8th company finally come in good terms with each others. Another new member of the 8th company, Victor Licht, is assigned to go on a mission as the forensic scientist. Captain Ubi tells his member that to make the team strong, they need a good engineer. He then sent 3 members, Shinra, Arthur, and Iris, to go to a man named Vulcan about joining them as an engineer in the company. Even though he instantly refused, he still let them have some fun and show them his projects. They also met Lisa, who helps Vulcan's work. Shinra's Adola Link suddenly senses a man named Giovanni. Giovanni wants the key to Amaterasu that Vulcan's dad and granddad built. He used Lisa as a hostage by manipulating her into Vulcan's home to investigate where is the key. Giovanni beats Vulcan and destroys Vulcan's projector. Shinra and Arthur got into a fight with Lisa and the other White Clad members. Suddenly, Shinra Kusakabe appears to join the fight between Shinra and the White Clad. At first, Shinra full of joy to see his little brother again, even though he thought Sho was dead. But apparently, Sho doesn't even remember who Shinra is, and doesn't seems to care about anything Shinra said. Sho then launch an attack and instantly beats Shinra, who is unprepared to fight his little brother. Victor suddenly appears with a car and manages to escape with Vulcan and the other 8th company member. To increase their combat ability, Captain Ubi decides to let Arthur and Shinra train with Benimaru. He teaches them some moves that they can use by increasing their fire power. While training with Benimaru, Shinra links again with his little brother Sho through the Adola Link. Meanwhile, some of members of the White Clad were in a meeting where Giovanni says that the 8th company discover their base location. Sho says that it might happen since one of their members has the Adola Link. After the 8th company locate the White Clad location, the member go to the Nether and start having fights with some unknown enemies that were soon revealed to be the members of the White Clad. Everyone had a heavy and fierce fight trying to go through the White Clad base. In the end, Shinra meets his brother Sho in the center of their base. Even though Shinra tried his best to reason and save Sho, Sho is not changing his determination, since he was already brainwashed by the evangelist. Even though Sho keep attacking, Shinra still not giving up on his little brother. After some time, Shinra finally able to catch up with Sho's ability, which is to stop time. The two got into a more equal fight and start connecting through the Adola Link. Because of these connection, Shinra's memory of their childhood also transferred in flashes into Sho's memory. Sho finally remember a fragment of his big brother, who promised to always protect him. However, Sho's recognition comes too late since at the end of their fight, Sho's sword has already stabbed Shinra. The other member of the White Clad then comes to pick up Sho and Shinra, as their goal was to take the Adola burst holder. Arthur then comes and defends Shinra. As they are about to fight, the underground base started to crumble and they decided to fled immediately. Being severe wounded, Shinra then treated intensively at the Fire Force base. After 3 days, Shinra finally awake. He regrets that he wasn't able to save and bring back his little brother. Captain Burns then appears and wants to tell Shinra about the fire incident 12 years ago. Captain Burns says that he actually knows that Sho was still alive. In order to tell Shinra everything, Captain Burns challenged Shinra to show him his strength, whether Shinra is strong enough to save Sho. After some fierce fight, Captain Burns acknowledged Shinra and starting to tell the truth about the past. He explains that the fire wasn't started by Shinra, who has been blamed the whole time. The evangelist was behind the whole thing, and Shinra's mother turned into Infernal demon and might also still alive. After hearing all the story behind, Shinra determined to unravel all the mysteries about the whereabouts of his mother and little brother. And that's the end of the first season of this anime. If you enjoy the story, you definitely should watch the entire anime, as Shinra and his Fire Force company will continue the journey to find out the mystery behind the evangelist and the Adola burst, known as the Flame of Hell. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoy my video, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss my new one. See you soon.